is known as IBS International. Notified its customers of the potential safety-related concern in 2013. They recommended repair with this monitoring Earl Warner with five people are now dead. President Obama at the United Nations today called on the international community to work together to end poverty around the world and dismissing justifications for gender inequality. Every nation, all of our nations must invest in education and health and skills of our women and girls. And I have to say, I do not have patience for the excuse of, well, we have our own ways of doing things. The president is expected to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the UN tomorrow. It's a wrap for the Pope after a 10-day trip to Cuba and the United States, making his final stop again in Philadelphia. He told the audience, "As you pray for me, not forget." It was quite a number of people that shouldn't forget. More than 850,000 gathered in Philly to celebrate Mass with Pope Francis. He also spoke to sex abuse survivors and jail inmates. His chartered plane took off tonight, just hours after the Mass. Look up in the sky. It's a supermoon and lunar eclipse. It hasn't happened in 33 years. It won't happen again. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Stuck in traffic. We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Paul Bowden, lost with a look at the roadways on the Kennedy heading inbound between the O'Hare Extension and Canfield Road. Just tap the brakes. Also tap the brakes between the junction and Sacramento. O'Hare to downtown is 23. From the junction takes 12. 190 O'Hare Extension eastbound between Bessie Coleman Drive and Manheim Road goes slow. And then Eisenhower heading out on from the Circle Interchange through Morgan Street.
Oh, we got two viewers already. Show us. We got two viewers right now listening to us and watching us.
It's my mom and Ed. Hi, Mom and
Ed. Just sitting there waiting for the link to go live.
Probably.
Probably talking on the computer screen, I imagine, too.
So. What can you say?
Hey, my mom does that, so that's why I'm just assuming.
Hey, Dave, remember that woman I told you that I know from Kendall County who her house got broken into and the alarm went off and everything? She posted a picture of cookies that she made, brown butter salted chocolate chip cookies. I commented, I hate you so much right now.
I should have brought some of my oatmeal raisin. They came out good. I didn't even think about it. You know, I was hogging them and shoving them down my throat.
You're hoarding. You're hoarding your cookies.
I'm hoarding. You never know. Society, they like completely.
There's going to be a cookie shortage
I will have
anytime now.
That could replace gold.
Yeah.
That's what they say about ammunition.
Dear IRS, Snoopy's typing. Dear IRS, I am writing to you to cancel my subscription. Please remove my name from your mailing list.
Well.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Uno minuto.
El correcto primo.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Cauterize my ears.
Volume.
Sorry, I didn't adjust those. Just plugged them in.
Thanks, George. Now that we're sterile for life.
I usually do. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Now I'm going to be as deaf as David Russ.
Callers will give this book for free. Elite investors pay millions of dollars per year to access our stock picks. Our book will show you how we pick our stocks for free. Don't settle for average market returns when you can make Zacks returns. Call now for your free book and discover our way to consistently beat the market. Find out how to get your at 1-800-600-1932. That's 1-800-600-1932. 1-800-600-1932.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
I have 2 words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be taking a close look at what small business owners think about doing business in Chicago, how the trust in government is at a historic low, also how a U.S. program called Division 30 is funding terrorism against the United States with your tax dollars, and the media's newest clause, Celebra, pedophile rights. And be sure to catch this week's segment 6 right after the show on YouTube at youtube.com/OnTargetRadio, where we'll be discussing the swing voter next door. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600 or go to Facebook and like our page On Target Radio and ask us a question there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
Chicago, not exactly at the top of the small business satisfaction bell curve, took a giant step forward this week in the quest to attract small businesses back to the city. On Thursday, the city council voted to allow food cart vendors to ply their trade on the mean streets of Chicago. Body armor optional. Perhaps I should add legally, since street vendors have been operating secretly in the city for decades. Well, secretly isn't the best descriptor, as they are about as secret as Hillary Clinton's email server and have often had the same effect on the public's gastrointestinal tract. The city fathers, and not to be sexist, city mothers, come to think of it, a lot of people have referred to all 50 of them as mother something or other for a long time. Anyway, that august body decided to make the street vendors legal. That is, the food carts, not the immigration status. His Honor the Mayor was boasting how the vendors could create up to 6,400 new jobs and $8.5 million in new local sales tax revenue, and that doesn't include the necessary increase in hospital medical staff and ambulance drivers, which could easily double those numbers on a hot July weekday lunch hour in the Loop. The Gang of 50 lauds the move because they're spending money faster than taxes can be raised, and that's a bit problematic at a time when the city gained exactly 82 residents in the 2013-14 period and lost countless businesses. The mayor waxed eloquently about how legalizing food carts is a victory for entrepreneurship. I'm sure that replacing lost businesses that employed 20 to 100 or more employees with food cart vendors that employ one person makes perfect sense to the Gang of 50, since math, or any other academic achievement, is not a requirement for the dead to vote them in office year after year. One alderman is quoted as saying, "The ability to start this kind of low-cost business is a big deal to Chicago street vendors, many of whom operate in low-income neighborhoods that lack access to fresh food." Now, I may be thinking outside the box here, but my money is on that alderman probably eats lunch at the Drake Hotel's Cape Cod room. I seriously doubt he bellies up to Ebola on wheels for lunch. I know that areas such as Little Village, Pilsen, Rogers Park, and a lot more ethnic neighborhoods in Chicago have had food carts for years, but I would point out indigenous personnel build up immunities like Lucretia Borgia taking a few drops of poison a day to prevent an assassination. Now, let me give you an example. Indonesians drink the local water with impunity. I eat one salad, which had lettuce rinsed in water, and I'm mainlining hydrocortisone for 3 days with my head permanently attached to the hotel toilet room. Now, perhaps I'm being a bit judgmental, as I honestly know there are many food cart vendors that serve up food fit for the gods. The problem is figuring out which serves food fit for the gods, which will be arranging you meeting them in person. I've eaten at food carts in aforesaid Indonesia, Vietnam, Hong Kong, London, Mexico City, and a few other places that are blurred from memory due to medical trauma. Separating the good from the bad is a bit like playing Russian roulette with a semi-automatic pistol. The odds are not in your favor. So here are 5 guidelines I put together to help you in your food cart adventure. Number 1, never pick a food cart with low prices. Everyone knows it's a loser, and he's had to drop his prices to rock bottom to attract people who care more about cost than their health. Number 2, try to choose one relatively close to a Class 1 trauma center, such as Children's Memorial or Stroger. 3, look to see if there are any small dead animals lying under the cart. 4, if given the choice, always pick the food cart with the longest line. It doesn't necessarily mean the food is any good, but it does give you time to observe the guy at the front of the line to see if he falls to the ground in convulsions after the first bite. And 5, don't be adventurous. Only buy something that you can recognize as having been an acceptable carbon-based life form originally. And never buy any food that's hidden inside of dough. It's a good rule of thumb that anything you can't see is probably something the vendor doesn't want you to see. A corollary to that rule is always double check to see if there's a skinny, hairless tail hanging out of the dough. And finally, you will repeatedly hear from the Food and Drug Administration how more than 2,000 different state and local agencies in the United States are responsible for inspecting food vendors. Rest assured, they have your best interest at heart. For instance, the FDA advocates legislation requiring at least one worker on every food cart or truck be trained in food safety methods. What a novel idea. Folks, the FDA is a government organization like the IRS, State Department, and Obamacare. What could possibly go wrong with that? And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Wow, that was very negative. I'm gobsmacked fairly.
I have not had good relationships with food carts all over the world.
I haven't traveled as much as you have, but I have eaten from street vendors in Mexico.
Yes.
And
Quite adventurous.
Lived to tell about it. Actually, didn't even get Montezuma's revenge. So
you know the drink horchata, which is a wonderful Mexican. It's I think rice water. Yeah, but it's sweet and it's wonderful.
It's full of sugar. No wonder you like it.
Of course, yes, absolutely. And I was introduced to that in Mexico at a street vendor by a friend of mine who is Mexican.
From Mexico.
Yeah. And I liked it so much I put away about 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how that worked out.
I do.
Yeah, we had to hold the meeting in the hotel bathroom. Yeah, it's so I've not had. And my last trip to LA, I ate at a street vendor. I barely made it home on the flight.
Have you ever heard the phrase moderation in everything?
You know what? I can literally resist anything except temptation.
Or ice cream.
Or ice cream. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Drinking 1 horchata might have been okay. 4 is probably what
it was the
did
water.
You in.
It was the water.
Well, that may be, but I'm still saying quantity wasn't your friend either.
Could be. You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call at 312-642-5600. Do you drink the water in third world countries where they bathe in it and use it for a toilet upstream?
Well, no, I don't. I actually brush my teeth with bottled water when I'm in other countries.
I've learned to take a bath with bottled water, I shower with this stuff. Joking aside, I do find it a certain level of irony that the mayor feels that adding street vendors is going to be a big boon to business in Chicago when they have done everything they could to drive business out of the city.
Right. We did a story probably a year ago now about how difficult it is, how Chicago is one of the most difficult places to start a new business.
Yeah.
And that some people, especially food and beverage, people are going to other places to start their businesses because it's so difficult and onerous and expensive to do it here.
And one of the interesting things that one of these articles pointed out, it's not funny, but it is, not only is Chicago horrible, but it's in Illinois.
Right. And Illinois is part of the problem.
Exactly. Chicago Business ran an interesting article, and it showed that small business owners still give. Rahm Emanuel says he's done this great job.
Right.
Small business owners are thumbing their nose at that. They gave in friendliness to small business a C-. They gave a C+ on ease of hiring and a C on environmental rules, to a depressing D on taxation and F on licensing.
Right.
In Chicago.
Although it says their grade is a tad better than the D+ they got last year.
Well, there's hope. There's always hope.
There's the silver lining.
That's right. Rat burgers may prevail. You never know. It lists, of course, this is hardly a surprise, The ones that came out high are Texas, Colorado, Virginia, and Georgia. And believe it or not, Illinois is at the bottom of the list and joined with California, New York, and Connecticut. All, of course, democratically controlled.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a wonderful thing. If you have an experience with a food cart and you're able to talk, please feel free to give us a call, 312-642-5600. Barring that, we will send you flowers. And we'll be back with more On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Yeah, I like that too.
Food wrapped
We
in dough.
should have said if they want to.
Really?
If
No, I'm just food as a no. In general?
Oh, it's delicious. It's not good for you, and I avoid it. but
Right.
It's delicious. Dough is anything that is food, like
That's
encapsulating air. Like anything that is something wrapped in
Air
wrapped
popcorn?
air wrapped in something is
Right.
awesome. Cotton candy, Krispy Kreme donuts,
I can live with that.
popcorn.
I never thought of that. as
Nobody
being wrapped
doesn't
in
like
air.
popcorn. Anything wrapped in air is awesome. Or air wrapped in anything.
Air
people with
popcorn
diverticulitis
is
might not like
bland.
popcorn.
Air popcorn's bland. Did you try the popcorn
But I
Saturday?
mean, popcorn itself doesn't matter how you pop
See-
it; it's full of air.
We should have
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
should have said no food vendors.
Did you
want
try
to
the?
sponsor.
Did you try the popcorn?
No, I
There
didn't
you
eat
go.
any
It was
actually.
excellent.
Oh, nice.
It was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Boy
Really
Scouts would
good
do a pretty good job of that
popcorn.
stuff. I was a Boy Scout once.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about the distrust in 3 branches of government. How cool is that? How can they take away?
3 things about the food cart thing. One, you got John from the Aurora Sportsman's Club who has a comment. No, I don't think people's last name. He said he just said he knew you, and he didn't say he didn't say a town or whatever. So it's just John.
Okay, cool. That's a good one.
The other 2 things are part of the thing that they did in the city council says that all the food has to be prepared in a licensed and inspected kitchen. It could be in your house.
It's just a humorous rant, George.
Well, no, I
It's just poking
understand.
fun.
But the other thing to point out is that when they say they create 2,000 jobs, they're not creating 2,000 jobs. They're legitimizing 2,000.
Well, yeah, a lot of these
Yeah,
jobs already
exist.
exist.
Yeah,
That's
it was
true.
actually 6,400.
But they weren't paying
which sounded
taxes.
Plus, they're
outrageous.
taking their business away from their other shops.
Well, that's one of the complaints.
That's
Yeah.
why
Well,
they.
that's-
That's why they never
That's
allowed.
part of it, though.
before.
That's
Yeah.
part of it, though. There are certain areas where you're not allowed to set, like you're not allowed to set up in front of a restaurant.
I
You're
believe
not
it,
allowed-
like anywhere on
Anywhere in the fancy.
What they want you to do is walking through neighborhoods with your food cart, which is what you're supposed to do anyway.
Well,
You're supposed to push it around.
the truth is, I think most food carts tend to be ethnic and they're in ethnic neighborhoods.
Right.
They're not
Let me
typically.
tell you something. The
But what
Somali
about
lady
the-
that roams around Portage Parks.
There you go.
But what about like the ubiquitous hot dog vendor in New York? I mean,
Right.
you don't think of New York City without thinking of hot dog
No,
vendors.
absolutely.
You know,
But they've had street vendors forever.
right? But that's what I'm saying is, it's actually a minus for Chicago that we don't have that.
Yeah. And the restaurants.
Right.
What it doesn't say is, why now? What happened that now?
Because they need money.
Well, duh.
Well, people were pushing for it, including the Illinois Policy Institute.
Yeah, oh yeah.
25 seconds.
We'll do John. You got a
No.
relevant?
You can do John. I don't.
No one.
I don't even.
Rick does John.
I don't even know John.
I don't need to do John. Well, how much? No, never.
I don't even know who John is.
Well, he's from ASC. There's only like 900 of them. Exactly.
360. You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600 if you got a comment about food vendors and on the street. John has a comment about food vendors. How you doing?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Gretchen. How are you?
Hi,
Hi. I grew up in the city of Chicago, lived in Illinois all my life, and I'm wondering what the mayor thinks is going to happen as far as sales tax goes? How does he think they're going to collect sales tax on basically a cash business?
Well, I mean, that's similar to guys who drive taxis, though. They're doing a cash business. I think they just send the mob after them.
All right. I mean, but they're somewhat, I would think, a little bit more regulated. To me, it's almost like they're encouraging more corruption with the same lack of results.
Oh, not in Chicago. I can't.
Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. Not in the county of Crook.
I'm shocked by that. I think the thing that comes to my mind is why now? Because they've had this restriction forever. New York, Gretchen and I were just talking. New York has had vendors for a long time, very successfully, and I make fun of it. George came in and gave me grief about it. My rant is just a little light, funny thing, but
he read it with a straight face, but he was really being facetious.
Maybe that's true. I don't know. But we were talking on the break, why now? And I think you hit the nail on the head.
Money.
Yeah, it's about they want to get the money. And John's point is well taken. How much of it with cash, never comes to the surface.
Unless they've worked out some sort of shakedown, and I know that doesn't happen. So
no, never.
They have it. I don't remember how this works. Somebody explained it to me. Waitresses, wait staff.
Mm-hmm.
There's some sort of system that makes it more difficult for them to hide money. I forget what it is. Like they have to have an estimated income. I can't remember quite how this works, but
they do have to pay taxes.
Oh
but
yeah.
It's really the honor system.
Well, they make it a little less honorable. They've got something, and I can't remember what it is. If it's a percentage of the gross of the restaurant, I can't remember. There's something there that kind of forces people to belly up to the bar and drop cash on the barrelhead. I don't remember what it is. Maybe somebody will call in and tell us what it is. You're listening on Target Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, and let us know if you like the idea that we have street vendors hitting the streets of Chicago. We think it's probably okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's near Stroger.
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed.
I'm all for culinary adventure, and I'm all for entrepreneurs. So.
But really, make sure there's not a tail sticking out. You said something about things wrapped in
food wrapped in dough is awesome.
Dough, yeah.
You've had Indian samosas.
True.
Those are delicious.
But I have it at a restaurant that could be taken to court.
Well, I'm not saying that you didn't, but I'm just saying in general, you were disparaging food wrapped in dough, and I'm saying food wrapped in dough is really great. Most people love like pigs in a blanket. Most people love, your bagel dog.
That's because they're drinking when they have that stuff.
Well, that may be that you didn't bring that up before.
No, but you're not drinking on the. Well, some people drink at a street vendor, probably the street vendor. But I mean, stuff wrapped in dough like pigs in the blanket. You're like three sheets to the wind when you're eating that stuff. You could be eating.
Not when you first get to the party.
Well, yeah, you're at a party where you're bored and you're drinking yourself into oblivion, and you're eating stuff you don't even know what it is. Probably dog treats. Who knows what it is?
I'm sure dog treats are delicious. Dogs love them.
Okay, this is going the wrong way. The other thing that we did want to bring up is here's just an astounding study. This just absolutely blows me away. There was a poll taken, and would you believe that the trust level in the three branches of the U.S. government is at a historic low?
No.
Shocking.
I can't believe it.
Absolutely shocking. 53% of respondents have a great deal or a fair amount of trust in the judicial branch. Now, that's only slightly over half of the American public.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 23% drop from the 76% of Americans that showed trust in the judicial branch at the beginning of the Obama administration in 2009. Now, to be fair, Obama's not put anybody on that court.
Not.
Oh, wait.
No.
Did he put...
yeah, he did. He did Sotomayor.
He did put Sotomayor. That's right. Yeah. But it's still supposedly a conservative court by one vote.
Yeah.
Well, as we both roll our eyes.
We saw how that went last month.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the good news. That's the best news. The bad news.
Yeah, the judicial branch still has the most trust of all of the three branches,
which is really scary. And the reason for that, I think, is quite well taken. It's because they don't get a lot of scrutiny. Most of what they do is not in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
20
until last month.
Yeah, 45% have in the executive branch, and legislative branch 32%, which is probably mainly Republicans who are dumbfounded that we control both houses, and it's exactly as if Dirty Harry were still running the place. But I think the point is well taken about the Supreme Court. You hear the big findings, and I think the drop really is specifically because of just these really most recent.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how recently they took this. This is a Gallup poll. So I don't know how recently it says September 9th to 13th. So it's very recent. But it said 37% of Americans declared that the court was too liberal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely the conservatives that are disgruntled about the recent ruling.
Because it's a conservative court.
Mm-hmm.
So, Supposedly, yeah.
I would say at this point, clearly it's not a conservative court, but,
Well, they say the recent decisions of the Supreme Court were predominantly left-based, which they were, resulting in a 17% decline of Republicans' trust in the judicial branch over the past year, and 37% of Americans declaring the court as too liberal. If you look at, there was the article that you had dug out, or did I, about Trump and the GOP.
No, that was you.
Okay, I dug it out. I like Trump, but for different reasons. The GOP, they're not doing what they said they were going to do.
Right.
We turned out the vote. We control both houses, and they are not doing what they said they would. And they're coming up with a lot of excuses.
Right. Exactly.
Now, fearless leader.
They're saying, oh, we don't want to vote for something that Obama's just going to veto. Who cares?
Why
Do it
not?
anyway.
Absolutely. You know what?
You have nothing to lose.
I would have him vetoing every day of the week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. He said, I've got a pen. I want his pen hand to be so tired
that he can't go play golf.
Exactly.
That's what I would hope for. Yeah. I mean, the disillusionment is big.
It's real. Yeah.
I mean, there are people in the Congress who literally got elected specifically saying they were going to support certain things, and now they don't do it.
Right.
And the big guys stand out. The ones that you really like Gowdy. I mean, he's the firebrand. They're talking about he should be the next speaker.
Right.
And but they got this guy out of nowhere that everyone seems to say is as bad as the present one.
Well, he's number 2 to Boehner.
Yeah.
That's
right.
That's why.
And what's his name?
He's the heir apparent. Kevin McCarthy.
No, that's an actor. See, nobody knows.
No, I'm serious.
I'm
serious. That's his name.
Is it? I don't think anybody.
Sure.
You may be the only one in the country that knows his name. Nobody knows his name and cares, which is the problem, because they go, oh well, okay, then that's fine. We'll vote for him.
No,
this is going downhill really, really quickly. Look at the issues. The Keystone oil pipeline. Nothing's done. People ran on that. Okay, people ran on anti-abortion big time.
Right.
Big time.
We're going to pass the 20-week ban.
Exactly. They can't defund it. They can't do anything.
Right. The Senate won't vote on the 20-week ban. The Senate won't vote on Obamacare, repealing Obamacare. The House has voted on it like 5 times.
Yeah.
And
Iran, which they will happily do.
Oh yeah.
And what we're doing,
we're
essentially arming them with nuclear weapons.
Facilitating them.
That's basically what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're saying, okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Rubber stamp it.
Yeah. So apparently he's not planning on playing golf in the U.S. after he leaves the White House. He's probably moving to Iran. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, we're going to be back with that and more love after a few messages. You're listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM560, The Answer.
You saw him moderate the CNN presidential debate.
Hugh Hewitt, nice man.
Now you can see him live at Freedom Summit Chicago 2015. Hugh Hewitt is coming to Freedom Summit.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt.
And he joins an already packed lineup that includes Ann Coulter and AM560's Sean Hannity. Freedom Summit Chicago on November 14th.
Oh, funding ISIS with tax dollars. That's a good one.
So we come back and read in our library.
Can we use Bitcoin instead?
Oh, right. You're bringing it back. I only read it. Is there anything we didn't cover about that? There was a lot there.
There wasn't anything particularly
Nothing particular?
juicy there. There
No.
was 3 articles, but they weren't particularly good.
The National Transportation Safety Board
It is interesting.
It seems to be
91% of
issue
Republicans in Iowa, which is the first go around.
What's that?
Shitty news,
91%.
right?
Where?
Fed up.
Shitty, like just you read an
Unsatisfied.
article and it just sucks.
Right.
And the best part is the
People
figure is
get ready.
82% among Democrats.
They're just using the same like half a dozen wires, and everybody's writing the same thing.
Oh, I thought you meant like poor writing.
No, I just mean
That's something I've noticed.
it's news, but it's not news.
Yeah, it's the same
That's-
regurgitated.
Yeah, like I get all these emails with links to websites.
There's
Like,
website
they're
used to be
aggregating.
around. It was called factset.com. Factset. And what they did was they conglomerated all of the different. They would take like major, like the 3 or 4 biggest stories of each day, and get everything from all of the different, and just here's Factset. And it's never so
Yeah.
it was great.
But yeah, I get about 4 or 5 emails a day from different conservative websites that are just aggregating headlines from other websites
Yeah.
and linking
Or
to
even
them.
aggravating headlines.
You want more? I probably
And
get
they're-
15 a day.
They're mostly all, I think some of the ones that I subscribe to, you started subscribing to. So yeah, some of the same ones. And it's the same headlines over and over again. If I get 3 different headlines in a day, that would be amazing.
Yeah, there's
That
2 or
seal
3
being
hot,
opened.
hot things a day.
Yeah, I mean, like as far as the subject line in the email, if there was 3 different ones, that would be a hopping news day. Because normally it's 1 or 2. They're either all the same or there's 2 different ones.
I think a lot of those joints are sort of just different fingers in the same hand too.
Well, you know what? It's white space. You got to fill white space.
Right.
Once you're committed to doing something daily,
Yeah.
you got to do
You've
something.
sold the ads for the banners and the sidebars and everything else.
That's it. I mean, that's it. That's what every magazine goes through. Every.
Or you can just go the clickbait route and have like top 10 child stars that grew up to be ugly, and you click the first one,
That's like
and it shows you something, and then you click it again, and the whole page reloads, but it just changes the words underneath the picture, and then you click it again, the whole page reloads, and it shows you the next picture. And they're just milking all those ads.
It's like the old serials of the 50s when you went to the movie. They show the guy falling off the cliff with his horse, and then you come back next week and he stopped short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willing suspension of disbelief. Brought you back to the movie every week.
Benedict Cumberbatch went off the top of a 15-story building in Sherlock Holmes, a BBC series, and then beginning of the next series, he's back. Okay.
I got another one!
It's sort of like.
On my business page,
What was
which has
it?
like 40 likes.
No, what was it?
No, I was like 42.
How many pages do you have?
Tom Hiddleston.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny.
Oh.
I,
Kenny.
oh
my God! They killed Kenny.
Obviously, I'm an administrator on his too.
They never
and I have
explain
my
how
own
he
too.
could die
Right.
every
And
episode.
then I'm an
and be back.
administrator on work on young children.
It's very easy to explain.
Which ones do you have just for you? Like your business stuff?
Cartoon.
Like that?
Yeah. What was
oh my
great?
God.
What was great was
No,
when
I mean,
they
like,
finally
you have
killed him
one for your
completely.
political
Do what?
They
campaign,
finally killed him
then one for
completely.
business.
Oh, yeah.
They killed him. And then at some
yeah,
other
personal.
point, they said,
So, yeah, like,
"Hey, you know who I miss? I miss Kenny.
Another one's
Hey, we should
okay.
reincarnate Kenny." Oh, okay. And they go down and they buy stuff at the head shop.
I kind of moderate
reincarnate
the
Kenny,
Young
and then they all get
Republicans
stoned,
one
and
because I don't want to go close
Kenny
to him.
appears in smoke.
Right.
And then
So
Kenny.
there was
I
this
just read
annoying
it
kid who
all
was
the
trying to
time
hang out with him,
make
and they
sure
weren't
people
quite right.
don't
And then
post bad
Kenny
stuff. Like people were posting like ads
possesses
for their
him,
businesses.
and they're
It's
like, "All right,
use
Kenny's
this
back," and he
business
goes to the
as
closet
something
and he
else.
gets
Yeah,
his
see
phone.
that
You want to
episode.
pay us first
Oh,
for
it's
going?
Right, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
it's like I don't advertise my business on there, so why would I let you
40
advertise
seconds.
your business?
40
That and the one where where Tom Cruise was in the closet and refused to.
Stories News Team. Hello, Tommy. Here's a chance for you to win a shiny new dye. In the event of an emergency and you and your pet iguana have to evacuate, what's the quick way to carry your reptile out of the house? You have 5 seconds.
Okay, let's see. If you have an iguana, I guess I'd carry.
Oh, I'm sorry, your time's up.
What?
You stick your lizard in a pillowcase or a cloth set.
I was going to say that.
Get more pet tips at ready.illinois.gov.
Sponsored by the Illinois Emergency Management Agency.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Hi, I'm Rick Cizak, Advertising Sales Director for the On Target Media Group. You own a small business and need more exposure to potential customers, and of course, what small business doesn't, we can help. For over 3 years, the On Target Media Group has been helping small businesses grow. We offer many different and affordable marketing packages through our partnership program. Plus, we can even help create a custom program tailored to your business's needs. To find out more, contact me today at sales.ontargetradio@gmail.com or visit our website at otmediagroup.net/sponsorship. We look forward to helping your business reach its target.
You know, Gretchen and I do that. I mean, we could do that too.
What's that?
Well, I mean, we do, you know,
What?
AM560 The Answer. So now we're going to do
Oh.
welcome back together. A little duet.
Oh, okay. There you
What
go.
can I say?
It sounded like there was a recording playing of you, and then Rick was talking over the recording.
Unfortunately, I was talking over Rick.
That's okay.
So I only write the script. I don't, don't actually read
He
it.
doesn't actually follow it.
Yeah, I don't follow it. That's troublesome. One last little thing about the government issues, and we tend to sometimes make light. I do. You're more mature about these things. I tend to make a little light of it. But here is a story that I find a little troubling. Okay, and I'm a law and order guy. This militia guy, John Ritzheimer, is going to go around and start arresting people. Starting with a senator who is a liberal and voted, is in favor of the Iran nuke deal. And so I get that. I don't mind seeing her go to jail. But he's saying their group is going to go around. And the quote that it would be funny if it weren't not funny, I guess you would have to say. He talks about the reason they can do this is they have strong ties to the Michigan State Militia and the lax gun laws that allow us to operate in the manner necessary for an operation like this, unquote. That makes me a little nervous. As much as we...
and I'm sure Michigan is ecstatic.
I'm sure. As much as we tend to be pretty hard to the right, this sort of thing, we want to follow the law. Okay? To go around and suggest you're going to start arresting senators and the president of the United States, he says, as much as I would like to see that happen, I would rather it happen legally in a law-abiding manner, not a bunch of guys in camo fatigues bursting through the door. Well, no, that's how it would happen. But anyway,
I was going to say, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by legally. I mean, based on the definition of treason, these people have committed treason. Obama, more than anyone.
Yeah. But I'm saying this guy has no standing.
No, he doesn't.
Right. If the FBI should go and do this, they should vote for impeachment and go through a law-abiding manner. The worst thing that anybody could do in this country right now is do the right thing. I'm sorry, the wrong thing for the right reason.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this stuff, I'm sympathetic toward it. It just has to be done the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people all around us who...
and that's what I said. I'm like, in any one of these groups, there's a wingnut in every group.
Yeah, but apparently he's got supporters, which makes me a little.
He's
nervous.
got friends. Yeah,
he's got friends. I know a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he knows some guys.
I know a guy. Yeah. So you're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call 312-642-5600. We've only had one intrepid caller willing to burst the bubble here. And
I think everybody's watching the Cubs right now.
They're watching the Cubs. You might just as well watch us. It's just boring, right?
Don't say that. The Cubs are in the playoffs.
I don't know. You know who me, and I'm a Cubs fan. I'm born north of Madison Avenue, so I'm legally, I'm a Cubs fan. The other subject we're going to talk a little bit about in this segment is we debated about whether or not we even want to talk about this, but the media's new cause célèbre is pedophilia, and I don't even know what you say about that. I mean, that's and you kind of predicted saying this is the slippery slope where it was going to go.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just me. Obviously, there's other conservative, pundits who brought up the fact that if they, prior to the Supreme Court saying that, homosexuals have the right to marry, that if they did that, then the next thing would be polygamy and pedophilia and bestiality and all sorts of things like that. It basically opens the door to any perversion that you would like to name.
And they don't consider it that. With gay marriage, you have two adults who are consenting and they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may agree or disagree with the concept,
right?
But nobody's being taken advantage of,
right?
Okay, when you start getting into people like young people who have no judgment whatsoever to begin with,
mm-hmm.
or dogs, which are oftentimes smarter than people, but don't have the ability to resist, well, that's getting over the edge.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to say about that, is there?
No, there really isn't.
No. What scares me is the American Psychiatric Association has tried to relabel this stuff and not make it a criminal type thing.
Well, and not make it a dysfunction or a medical condition.
It's just an orientation.
Right.
I'd like to orient them a little bit.
Yeah.
Just my personal opinion. We're going to be back with more On Target Radio after a few messages. We're going to talk about we are funding ISIS with U.S. tax dollars. That and more on AM560 The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the road, still using the Red Line subway tunnel over on the Brown Line between Fullerton and Roosevelt. That goes.
Certainly, we said the same thing.
Right.
So it was a little bit,
That's what you were going to say.
Yeah.
I knew that's what you want me to be saying.
No, that was good because you kept going. You ignored him and kept going. So no, you did the right thing.
Absolutely.
That was good.
As soon as I heard your voice, I realized I made a small error.
I know. That's why I kept
tomato,
going.
You say tomato, and I say shut up.
Yeah, the worst case I figured I would just shut up after he said,
response.
The intro back in. If he was going to keep talking.
Here we go. What did I say? The Pentagon trained
Moderate
rebels. Moderate rebels.
Just love that.
Yeah. It's like small nukes. Where's the line between small and large?
Right.
Particularly if it lands in your backyard. We're just skimming right along here, aren't we? Nothing on Facebook?
Not really.
No, just literally was saying about our audio on segment 6 or something from last week or whatever. Maybe when I just uploaded, maybe there's some issue that I didn't know about yet. But he's like, whenever anyone turns away from the mic, you can't hear them very well. Well.
Oh, us?
Yeah, in our segment 6. Not this.
But,
I don't know what else we can do with the mic setup yet.
We need more. I just need to get some mics and put them out in front. Yeah. Except the board won't handle it, will it?
What do you mean?
Yeah, didn't we say
How many
we need
mics
to get a little mixing
our board won't
for
do
the-
it more than one mic.
That really slows it down.
Yeah, because we didn't know we were doing that. We were much bigger too and more stuff to carry. So
I may have to look at the multi-mic board.
and then we could probably use that for this too. It'd just be a bigger,
Well, I'm sure you
wider piece of equipment. But I didn't know we were going to be.
We'll come in here with racks, set everything up, bolt it to the wall.
We're just going to build a whole rack system on a cart.
Hey, take it over. Take over the whole place, I pay for this 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
I gotta remember to look at is, are we on the WIND page at all?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we are, okay.
Our picture's on.
I'll teach you my proven strategy to start
There isn't anyone looking
I
at
don't
it.
want you to look at the picture because then you're going to go, I don't like that picture.
Yeah,
Right.
We're on it.
probably.
You need something cool like the one I made for our YouTube heading, something similar with that, where you've got some different colors in the background. 10 seconds.
Signed it?
No, okay.
1-800-592-11.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back, this time with more on Target Radio. Division 30. Hold up your hand if you've ever heard of Division 30. Well, we don't see a lot of hands in the air. They are Pentagon, listen to this carefully, they are Pentagon-trained moderate rebels. And they call them Division 30. And Division 30, they trained an outhouse full of these guys and let them go, right? Because they were going to help us. They were our buddies.
Right.
And when they got to the Syrian border, they handed over all the weapons they were given and the SUVs and ammo, and handed it all over to
an Al-Qaeda affiliate.
Yeah, an Al-Qaeda affiliate. Division 30 fighters, listen to this, who recently graduated from a U.S.-led training program in Turkey. We're teaching our enemies how we fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what could possibly
go wrong.
Yeah. Who in a U.S.-led training program in Turkey are believed to have given both weapons and vehicles to terrorist group in exchange for safe passage into Syria. How many levels of wrong are there? First of all, we just train these guys and they're afraid to cross the border.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not going to go well.
Aren't they're supposed to fight Assad?
Right.
That's why they have to go to Syria.
Right.
But now they have nothing to fight Assad with because they turned in their weapons and their
for safe passage.
SUVs.
Yeah.
In exchange for safe passage.
Those are truly fighters. Apparently they didn't go to Ranger School. And then so one of their members, a name which I can never pronounce these names, said that he had tricked his Western backers into ordering a large cache of weapons. So they didn't go over with a couple of Glocks, right? They went over with a ton of stuff.
That was racial microaggression, what you just said.
Is what?
Racial microaggression.
Okay, probably was. But here's the payoff. The program cost, you ready for this? The program cost $500 million. So far, right? It's an ongoing program.
That's what
so far, okay? And that has yielded, are we ready? They've produced
You're not ready.
4 or 5 successful soldiers in the fight against ISIS. $500 million. They could have bought the country for that.
I think I want a refund on my tax dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could go fight in Syria, and I think you can get an SUV if you go hang around the border.
They'll give you guns, ammo, and
an SUV
and a free SUV.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listening to On Target Radio is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call. We're getting desperate here.
It's an even better deal than welfare.
That's right. 312-642-5600. Tell me if you would go and fight for $500 million worth of training and equipment.
Well, if you divide it, it's only $100 million each.
Oh, well, that makes it simpler.
That's much better.
Much better. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a much smaller number.
The scary thing about this, seriously, though, is they are taking people who want us to be killed, who want death to Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And teaching them our fighting tactics.
Right.
Now, intelligence, the whole concept of intelligence is to learn how the other guy operates.
Right.
We're paying them and giving them gear so they'll learn how we operate so they can go back there and kill us.
Yeah, the whole thing is not really logical.
No. But then it comes out of this administration. So why is that a surprise?
Right. Exactly. And people are going, well, we don't really have any proof that Obama is a Muslim. And then I saw an email that said 31 things that make us think that he is Muslim. and that's what it is. It's just a mountain of circumstantial evidence, this being one of them, that the U.S. is deliberately allowing Al-Qaeda and other radical groups to flourish in Syria in an attempt to bring down the Assad government. So it's that old, the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. No, they're not. They're still your enemy.
They're still your enemy. Retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn said what people have been thinking a long time. I think a lot of people have been afraid to come out and say it. And what he said is, in an interview on Al Jazeera, of course, he said that the choice to support terrorist groups was a willful decision by the Obama administration. It's not as if Obama is dumb as a brick and doesn't realize these guys are trying to kill us.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
The stories that have been coming out have been defectors. It's very difficult to defect from ISIS because they kill you right away.
It's probably kind of like defecting from the mafia or the Latin Kings or something.
Or the CIA for that matter, but that's a
Right.
different issue. They're probably closely related. But 58 people have managed to get out, and the stories they tell are very interesting. And they get out for different reasons. Some of them are just bad guys anyway. But they talk about, some of the things they talked about is they're killing Sunni rebels.
Right.
They're Sunni.
Well, the interesting thing is there's a group called the International Center for the Study of Radicalization and Political Violence. That's pretty succinct. And they compiled all the interviews that these people have done, these defectors from ISIS have done. And they basically found 4 recurring storylines.
Yeah, of which that's one of them.
That's one of them.
The interesting thing, and another one is corruption, rampant corruption, and all that. But the interesting one is that there's a growing number of people who find that the group's brutality is excessive.
Right.
They don't find it excessive against us. They find it excessive against the Sunnis, other Muslims.
Right. They don't like the fact that there seems to be little priority in toppling the Assad regime. They're more interested in just persecuting the Sunnis, and they don't like the random killing of hostages and the atrocities and the killing of innocent civilians. Sorry.
Well, maybe it'll come out in the wash. I don't know. All right. Well, we're going to be back. We'll wrap it up with our last segment after a few messages, and you are listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm trade.
These guys, they be very calm.
Yeah.
Did you read that article?
No.
You know why they're calm?
They're sedated.
Well, that's what everybody seemed to think. That isn't why they're calm. They're calm because they're being told beforehand, we're just doing this as an exercise for practice. Nothing's going to really happen.
Oh.
I got you.
Yeah, they tell them, and we're getting this from the people who are escaping. They're telling them that we honestly don't really wish you any harm. It says all we want to do is make it here. We're going to do this and videotape it. We're going to just practice thing. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. That's because I'm thinking every time I see one, I'm thinking I'm going to go down fighting. I'm not going to just walk out there and do that. If I'm going to die,
yeah, it had occurred to me. Why are they
for
not struggling and straightening them?
Exactly.
You would think that they would see stuff that's happened previously and not believe that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Maybe they just think that's their best chance.
Although
to
I don't necessarily know that they have exposure to that because they don't have the social media and the TV
that's
that
true.
we have.
And it might be something where they say, well, if you go along with this, will be all right. I'm not going to hurt you. But if you don't, then we're going to hurt you, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they've got an American speaking, is a Brit, I think, or something, who's doing this. Who's
Jihadi John?
telling them this. Yeah. He's all, no, we're not really going to do this.
It's just for the video.
Yeah. I just really would like to see them all learn alive. Normally when I really don't like somebody, just, wishes they're dead works. But this is like, I want to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so how much you got?
I've got about 2.5, 215, something like that.
You're listening to On Target Radio. 560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio, and we're still looking for an intern to work in our beautiful operation, both the shooting school and the radio show.
Oh, I thought we had one for Safer.
No.
Jim quit.
Well, he's not Jim still, he helps us, but I'm looking at the future. See, I'm looking at, high school senior, college freshman, whatever, somebody that wants to get into the business.
Okay.
Bringing fresh talent into
Sure.
And like intern guy.
Lots of focus, lots of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, intern guy. We want an intern guy to come back. Could we call the university and tell them something subversive about him?
You've already tried that.
That didn't work.
You need to come up with plan B.
I never have.
If he comes back, we'll be redoing the Gaylord commercial.
Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
The Illinois State Rifle Association is fighting hard against the new rules proposed by the Illinois State Police pertaining to concealed carry. I would hope that every person in our listening audience is a member of the ISRA, but that is statistically improbable. So if you are not a member of the Illinois State Rifle Association, I urge you to join. The ISRA fights for your Second Amendment rights every day the legislature is in session in Springfield. They also support and promote the shooting sports in Illinois. To join today, go to isra.org and click on Participate. I want every one of you to put down Gretchen Fritz as the member that referred you, and then I will get so many people to join that they will have to give me a plaque or something. Once again, go to isra.org and click on Participate. 2 new ISRA local groups are forming, one in the Chatham neighborhood of Chicago and one in Wheaton, replacing the Bloomingdale meeting location. The next meeting of the Wheaton ISRA group will be Tuesday, October 20th at 7 p.m. at the Seven Dwarfs Restaurant on Roosevelt Road. I will let you know when I find out about the next meeting of the Chatham group. The following Safer USA classes are all at our office in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, October 10th and 11th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Saturday, October 10th, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. Sunday, October 11th, Know Your AR Platform Rifle 1 and 2, taught by Eric. Sunday, October 18th, NRA Basic Pistol Course, taught by David. Saturday, October 24th, Tactical Rifle 1 and 2, taught by Eric. Saturday and Sunday, October 24th and 25th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1, taught by David and Gretchen. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
Ed Ronkowski sends us a message on Facebook, and he says, quick, go out. The super blood moon lasts until about 10 p.m. And the next time it will come along is 2033. He put a picture up on our Facebook thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, he's retired. He can do that. We're still in the process of losing in money as fast as we can.
Right.
Yeah, we're not retired yet.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do segment 6 tonight, or we're going to go look at the moon. You want me to shoot a moon here?
Please don't.
We can do the segment 6. And tonight we'll be talking about the swing voter next door.
Yeah.
We'll check that out at youtube.com/on-target radio.
It's always nice to tell people where to go.
Yep.
That's it. What can I say? It's another one in the bag. Welcome. Yeah. Thanks for listening to On Target Radio, and be sure to listen next week when we'll have Nick Ficarello and Craig Butkovic, both lifetime students of the Constitution, talking about how little Americans know about the U.S. Constitution.
We'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board, our social media coordinator and ad sales director, Rick Cizak, and our sponsors, DS Arms, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, Stone City Kitchen and Bath Design Center, and Safer USA.
And this week's zombie shoot, Ross Collins, heck of a job. And as always, thanks, Mike, for making it all happen.